All right, here we are for page 2 of our 4th of July mini album. So page 2 is this page, right? We got these spin out. They spin up and down. That's going to give you 1, 2, 3, 4 by 6 pages, photos. And then we are going to open it up, and there we have an inside with a pocket and another big spot for at least a 5 by 7, but you could put 2 4 by 6s stacked on here. All right, and that does magnet close. So let's get to know our papers. Now on this one, we are going to need 2 brads. All right, and here's all of my handy dandy brads. I always want to use these little, they're called photo turns to hold things shut, but I never have. But someday maybe, right? And these brads, if you can see them, they're just very simple, and they are perfect for whenever you're putting them underneath things. They don't give you much of a bulge. I cannot tell you where I got them because my grandpa was an engineer. And I say was because if he was still alive, he'd be like 110 now. Has it been that long? No, but he'd be at least 105. Anywho, he lived to be a ripe old age, so he had a good life. But I got a bunch of his stuff. I got a bunch of his engineering stuff, so a lot of his grid paper and pencils and pens and notebooks, not because I'm an engineer, but because I fiddle. And I had a whole package of these, and I'm in love with them because you see how they're still, right, there's still that little bit of space there. So I take my little pliers and I flatten them out, and they are all but invisible underneath my paper. So that's why I love them. But I have no idea where to get them if you wanted more. I just keep using these. There was about 80 of them, I think. So for all I know, these were from the 70s. That was his heyday of being an engineer. So we need our 2 brads. We've got all of our paper. We do not need decorative paper for this one, so let's get into it. I'm going to set this stuff off to the side. Now let's start scoring our paper. So, scoreboard's on the ready. Page 2, part A. All right, page 2, part A. And this is 6 3/4 by 8 3/4. And we are going to score it at a 1/2 inch on the left and on the top. Now, we're going to need to practice patience on this one. I made my prototype once, and I've only made this for a book once. So, hopefully I don't get horribly confused. All right, so this is A, 1/2 inch at the top, 1/2 inch down the left-hand side. All right, and page 2, A1. This is 6 3/4 by 8 3/4, and we're going to score it a 1/2 inch on the right-hand side and on the bottom. This is one of the reasons why I like to label everything and keep everything facing a certain direction, because we are going to need this to be done on these 2 sides exactly. All right, so here's my right-hand side of my page at 1/2. And the bottom at 1/2. Okay. Now, part B, This is 6 7/8 by 8 1/4, and we are going to score at 1/2 inch and at 5/8 on the right hand side. We will need a tiny gusset on this one. So 1/2 inch on the right hand side and 5/8. Right? Now on to C. We need 2 of these, and they are 6 1/8 by 10 1/4, and we are going to score at 4 1/4 from the top. Okay, so I'm going to turn this one this way. There's my long side along the top, 4 1/4. And then the same on the other one, 4 1/4. And then we have D, which is going to be our pocket on the inside. And it is 7 1/4 by 3. And we're going to score at 1/2 inch on the left, the bottom, and the right. Okay. So there's my left side. There's my bottom. And there's my right. So that is all the scoring we need to do. Now we're going to knock off all those corners. Right? Go right through that intersection. Let's see. I'm wondering if I remembered. I did. So C, I know you're thinking it's 6 1/8, which is an odd size. It is because we need a little bit of wiggle room for it to fit inside our page. This is the part that's going to spin out. Okay, so we're going to set those there. And B doesn't need. All right, our A and A1, we have that small intersecting on the right and the bottom score line, and on the top and the left score line. Okay, so we got that part done. So the biggest part of this, we are going to build all of this. Parts A through C are going to be built onto part B. All right, so that will sit here. D is just the pocket that goes on the inside, and we want to put that in last because we're going to have a hinge and we want our pocket to go on top of that. So I'm setting D along with our base page over to the side for now. So first let's get B and go ahead and fold on those score lines. I think we are going to need a ribbon for this. We're going to need 2 ribbons. So let me get that real quick. That'll look good, yeah? So we will need that on here. Let me write that down so I don't forget to add it. All right. That way it's on yours when you get it. Oh, for the love. There we go. All right. So deep breath. Take a drink. It's tea. And let's go ahead and get our parts A and and fold those score lines. Remember, if my ditch is on the top, I turn it around to where the hump, and that's what I fold. I don't turn it around, I turn it over. And I'm really, really hoping I did this right. Yes. Oh, Skippy, Skippy, Skippy. So, what we need to do with part B is we are going to find our center. Where's my, there it is. So our page, here's all my scores. I'm going to fold those under because they're not part of this. Our page is what, 6 1/4? Yep. So we need, our center is going to be 3 1/8. So 3 1/8. Good Lord, let me see if I can move the glare. There we go. So 3 1/8 from the side is going to get us to our center. And I want it to be 3/4 of an inch down. So I'm going to line it up on my grid, on my cutting mat. All right, 3 small squares makes 3/4. And that's where I'm going to mark it. That's where we're going to be putting our hole. So now I'm going to do the same thing on this end, on the bottom. Okay, 3 1/8 from the side, 3/4 down. Line it up. I think we're there. Yep. 3 1/8. So 3 1/8 from the side, 3/4. Holy cow. 3/4 down, and that's our center and where we're going to put this. Okay. Now, whatever you poke holes with, now's the time to get it. And I think I've shown you this before, but you may be new. To find out, let's bring that light back over. To find out which size, if you've got the crocodile, you have a large hole on one side, you have a smaller hole on the other side. The newer crocodiles, yeah, I said it right. Actually, oh no, it does here too. Okay, I thought it was just a newer thing. It has your size of the hole. So one is 3/16 and one is 1/8. The 1/8 and the 3/16. So I will usually take my brad, because I don't want my hole to be too big, because then it will wiggle around. And I put it in that top hole. And see, I've got a little wiggle room. So if I go to the 1/8 side, yeah, I don't have a whole lot of wiggle, so that's the hole I want to use. There's dust in there. How in the world does that get dust? So I'm going to take it. I'm going to put it over the hole until I find my black mark. And that's where I'm putting my hole. Okay. We're going to do that on both ends. Okay. And now, oh, don't put your hole punch away. This is where we're going to start putting in the spinning parts. Okay. So these are part C. I'm going to go ahead and erase this. Here's my ditch. So I'm going to go ahead and fold. And now we need to do the same thing on here. We are going to find the center and put our hole there. And this is why we wanted it to be a little shorter instead of it being 6 1/4, because we need a little bit of grace room in here. Otherwise, we'll have all kinds of things sticking out the side. So I'm going to do this different this time. So if you have one of these, this is Creative Memories. If you have one of these, we've got all these hash marks at the top. And those are my quarter marks. I just had it the wrong way the last time. So we have 6 1/8 is the width of our paper. So to find our center, we are going to go 3 1/16 from the side to the center. And 3/4 down. I'm going to double check. Yes. Oh, it's perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and put these two together since they are the same size. This is the part where it opens. The part where it opens. I put them on top of each other. Here's my mark, my half mark. Remember, 3 1/16 from the side, 3/4 of an inch down. So here's our part B. How did I do that? I know you love it when I say that. I went too far down. All right, we need to shave. We need to shave the top of these by about at least 1/8. Oh my. Sorry. What is that? Yeah, took off 1/8 from the top of both of them. Because I didn't want this part sticking up. All right. So, yeah. So here's one. And we're going to, here is B. And this is the first one of C that we just folded, put our holes in and trimmed off the top. And we are going to attach that to the top, at the top of B. Okay, we're going to attach it with our brad. Okay. Now, this is B. We're going to turn B over. Here's our hinge. And we are going to attach our other C, but we are going to attach it with the flap down. And it's going to go to the bottom. And attach it with your brad. So whenever I turn it over, here's the top of B. This is the first C we put on. And now we've got the second C. And this is how they swing out. Now we've got a little bit. I'm going to knock off just a little bit of this corner. As you can see when it comes, those people, I gotta tell you, it's not account services, it's a scam. And they call all the time. All right, so what we're gonna do here is when we slide it up, we don't want that corner to hit it. So that's why I knocked off that one little corner. If you like symmetry, we can knock off this little corner over here too. All right, now I'm gonna turn it over and I'm gonna do the same thing to this one. And here you can see better. It just barely touches it. Hear that? So that's why we're gonna just a little bit of that corner. All right, so there are those. And now we need to put the covers on those. So we have page 2A. A1. I want you to get, let me see, where's my spine? My spine is on this side. All right? Yes. So get A1. A1 is the one that we scored at a 1/2 inch on the right and on the bottom. And A1 is going to go on top of B, okay? So our spin out goes to the top of our page. That is very important, all right? So we are going to have to slip this hinge. Well, if we turn it this way, we don't have to. So this is B. There's my hinges. It's going to connect it to my base page, okay? Our photos are going to spin to the left. So to put A1 on, we need to have this spin placed just like this. And now, and we don't need to do anything with this down here. It's perfectly fine. We are going to put our glue. This is the piece that the score line is on the right and the bottom, okay? Let's put our glue. I feel like I'm explaining too much, but it's already going smoother than it did the other 2 times I've made it. All right, so I've got my glue. This is spun out so that I won't be accidentally gluing it. I'm going to take my bottom right corner. I'm going to line it up with the bottom right of part B. Line it up along the bottom and then along the side. It is a little bit longer than wider than our page, and that's on purpose. We want to kind of hide all of this stuff on the inside. Okay, so smush, smush, smush. And this hides that part in there. Now, yes, we have this big flappy here, but I have a way to hide that. We are going to use so many magnets on this that it's never going to go anywhere. So here is A1. This is the front of our B. And here we have our top spin out. Okay. So let's go ahead and do it to where it's cockeyed like this again. And this part right here, we're going to put a magnet on the inside. Okay. hang on, a little bit of my tape is hanging out. There we go. There, that's just going to help keep that from spinning out where people see it. All right, so that's the top here. Now I am going to put a magnet and see if that help keeps it down. That keeps our flap from flapping up. So I'm going to put my tape here. And now when I go to pull this out, and you're thinking, but it's still. Yeah, it is. Hang on, and I'll show you how we'll fix that. We are going to put a magnet on the other side. All right, so this is the back of B, because here's our hinge. And I'm going to put it here. I married it up. They are even. So do we have a lot of magnets? We do. I don't know any other way of keeping that from just kind of flapping around. If this book was bigger, we could have had it spin out from both sides, and then I don't think we would have had that problem. Well, we may still have. But anyway, this is the only way I could figure to fix it. And see, now when I spin it out, it still stays magneted down. And then I can spin it back in, and it's still. So we have a magnet on the front of A1. We have a magnet on the back of our spin out. We have a magnet on the back of B. All right, they're all hooked together. So now here we have B. I mean, not B. We have our bottom spin out. Yeah. So we're going to take this. We're going to turn it over. And we're going to do the same thing with A, but this one is scored at a 1/2 inch on the top and a 1/2 inch on the side, on the left side. So we're going to spin this out to where it's cockeyed. This is why we needed that tiny gusset. I'm going to go ahead and put my glue. So 1/2 inch at the top, 1/2 inch on the left. I'm going to line up this bottom left point to the bottom left inside part of that score line. I don't want it on that score line. I want it right next to it, but not on it. Okay, line it up the side, then across the top, over all our magnets. Okay, and then smush. This is going to be a lumpy one to cover, but I don't know. I'm excited about those spins. I like things that move. All right. So we are going to, why are you doing that? There we go. So we are going to put a little bit of the magnets, just like we did here. So I'm first going to put one at the top. Oh, come on. There we go. Then I'm going to close this. And whenever I open that flap, So here it is from the top. Here's A1, but I've got it upside down. Here's my spin out. So whenever I close it, all right, I go in here. Now I'm putting this on the back side of those spin outs because I don't want people to see my magnet whenever I spin it. And they won't be looking in here. Okay, so here's my page in the correct direction. It's my hinge that's going to go on base page 2. So here's the bottom spin out. Yes. So see if I put there's my magnet. If I had put my magnet on top, everybody would see it. And there it's holding our page closed. So here's the back. Now I'm going to put one right here. And that holds our back page down. All right, clear as mud. So now we have our spin outs, and you can just cut out, or you could use a little ribbon. You're going to put it on this side so that they know where the pull outs are. There's there's the bottom one. There's the top one. On my farm book, I did the exact same thing we did on A. I used my little 1/2-inch punch. I'm sorry, my 1-inch punch. And I punched out 2 pictures. I did one for the front and one for the back. And those were my little pull tabs. Now, here is where we are going to put, I'm going to keep my pull tabs in the middle because that's where they lined up on my other book. I didn't like that the ribbon was right there with it. So I'm going to move, no, what the hell. I'm going to leave my ribbon in the middle too. So I'm putting this on here because it's hard to know that that page opens. And since we have so many layers here, it makes it difficult to know what to pull to open it. So I'm going to have this pull tab here. I'm going to put it down with some glue. And then I'll even put a little tape on top. Just to double sure it's on there. And then once I put my page on, I'm going to put another one on the back. I know there's a lot going on with this page. Someday I'll have it more streamlined maybe, but yeah, that day is not today. So let's go ahead and attach our part B with all the spin outs. All the spin outs, all the magnets. All right, here's my spine. I turned it sideways. Top, bottom spine. Here's my bottom right point. I'm gonna line it up. Follow it up the side, along the bottom. Okay, I'm gonna smoosh, and then I'm gonna open and smoosh. Okay. Now we have our little pocket to put on. And if you feel there's too much going on with this, don't put the pocket on. Just leave it open. I'm just a big fan of pockets. It's hard for me to commit to one picture, so I like that I can put several in there or change them out. All right, here's my base page. I'm going to put this down here at the bottom. This is why we waited to do it last, so it can cover up. Oh, there we go. It can cover up that seam. Then I'll slide the paper in just like I did on page 1. That covers up. I will probably, because apparently this is the magnet book, I'll put more magnets to keep it closed. And then I'll add my ribbon. All right, so there's that smush. There it is. All right. And then I'm going to take my little snippet of ribbon. So I'm going to mark, I've got my book closed, and I'm just going to kind of barely lift it up so I can mark where my ribbon goes. There and there. All right, so that's where I want it. I'll do the same thing I did before. Slap down some glue. Introduce it to some tape. All right, so here is our page 2. We have, let me get some these will work. Some paper clips to use as my pulls. Maybe that's what I'll use. Just get some that'll match my paper. That'll be cute. Where is it? There it is. Now let's put this towards the top. Putting this one towards the top. I'm gonna move this a little bit more towards the top. All right, so here's our page 2. We have, nope, that's not gonna work. We have this pull out with this page. We have this pull out. It works much better if you have permanent tabs. And then you have this. Let's go ahead and make those tabs, just because we can. And that way I don't have to worry about that. So I am going to do the same thing I did before. On page 1, where's my hole punch? There it is. I've still got some tape down, so I'm going to punch 4. No. Oh, it's never easy. Hang on. All right. So remember, I'm putting this double-sided tape on the back so that I don't have to try to figure out how to get glue to stick on there. And stay. So here's one. I need 3 more. This will be... There's 2. That one's cute. There's 3. 4. I don't know about this one. I can't see much of it, so I don't like it. Oh, that's cute. That one has the star too. Let's do that. All right, so there's my 4. Remember, I need 4, so I can put 1 on the front, 1 on the back. I'll save those. Let's go ahead and pull out the top one. And it's going to go on this side. Okay. So, let's see. We'll do these 2. So I'm going to take off my double-sided tape. And I'm just going to stick this on here. I'm going to try to center it the best I can. All right. See, it's half on, half off. I'm going to turn it over. Take another one, and that is going to go on the back side. And there we have our pull tabs. And I just need to line it up with that one. There we go. Now it's working like it should. Now we'll get our bottom one. Same thing. It's going to go right about here. All right. Now half on, half off. And put the other one on the back. Line it up. And there is our page 2. That works much easier. There's pull out 1, pull out 2, boom. All right, my friends, there is part 2. This should be the hardest page that we do. I don't know why that always seems to be page 2, but that's what it is. And I will see you in the next video for page 3. Toodaloo.